Welcome everybody. In today's video we have a very exciting item to review. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be taking a look at the VICTORINOX FARMER X. This is one of their A-Lock series multi-tool Swiss Army knives, and I am quite impressed with it. There's a few things different about this from a normal Swiss Army knife that I point out. So let's get into it. First thing, before you open up the tool, something that annoys me with this already is the keyring. The keyring, as you can probably tell, might be able to see from here, is it comes straight out and goes this way. Whereas on older models, it comes out at more of an angle, like so, which allows the knife to sit more flush on a surface. With this, it's just a little bit of a raise right there that makes it wobble some, and it's just a fine little detail. I wish that they'd have just pointed it that way. Wouldn't have been that hard, but yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just I'm just a picky person. There's nothing wrong with the knife. It's just I'm picky. So another outside difference is this is aluminum scales. This has aluminum scales on the outside. The average Victorinox has Celador plastic scales. This is a 93mm knife. This is a 91mm knife. If you put them almost one on top of the other, you might be able to tell that the A-Lock's Farmer X is just a wee bit longer. Not much, but a little bit. So let's finally get inside all the good stuff. Starting on the knife row of the the blade row of the knife, we have the awl, which is placed very interestingly here because on most Swiss Army knives, the awl is here on the back, on the bottom of the knife. This knife has no bottom tools. It's all the big tools up here in the top, like this one here, like all these here. But the awls are really nice. It has this bend on the top there to pull it out of the knife easier. Nice and sharp. Makes for a great package opener, clamshell packaging. Good for drilling into wood. It's more of a reamer than a punch, but it can do as a punch in a pinch. Say that 5 times fast. I'm not going to. We have the main blade, which when compared to the average Victorinox is, I did not cut myself, I dodged that blade quite nicely, is a little bit longer by just a smidge. Might be about the same length depending on how you want to go about it. About the same, but it's a little fatter this way than the normal Swiss Army knife. And also the spine starts out considerably thicker. I'd say about an extra, like a time and a half thicker than the average blade, and then it tapers down. So this is going to be a very strong blade, stronger than these. If you've put these through the ringer and these have held up, well, then this will probably breeze through all those tests and then some. Out of the box, it is very, very sharp. Very good. Got in a receipt paper there. I love this knife blade here. It's big, it's thick, it's strong. Just looks good when it's opened up. Fantastic. Closes with a good clack. There is no half stop. None of these tools here, except for the flathead driver, have a half stop. They all just open and close with no stopping right there at the 90. The only exception is the flathead, but we'll get to that down the road. Next up are the scissors, which are pretty much the standard scissors from Victorinox. Excuse the pocket lint on my Swiss Champ here. Same scissors, same size, although they put the notch on the other different side of the scissors, which is a little weird to me. Is it just me, or do these look a little beefier? They're probably the same size, but they seem just a wee bit beefier for some reason. I don't know why. But the thumb notch being on the other side is going to throw me for a loop for a while. You can kind of see that there. Very intriguing choice there, why they did that. I don't think it really helps because it's kind of breaking my standard use of grabbing the knife like this and going for the scissors. Which is something I'm going to have to get used to. Next up is the saw, which is pretty much, as far as I can tell, the same saw as a standard Swiss Army knife saw. No difference in length, same teeth size, all locks together quite well, and cuts through wood like it ain't even there. I gotta say, Victorinox knows how to make saws. It's kind of a toss-up between Victorinox and Leatherman on who makes a good saw, but it's neither here nor there. But something nice about this is all these tools are on their own spring, except for the knife blade and the awl and the flatheads. But the saw here clacks closed quite nicely. But on the Swiss Champ, the saw shares the exact same spring as the fish scaler, which is not an entirely useless tool. I have found uses for the fish scaler. Maybe I'll make a video on that down the road. But them both sharing the same spring, the tools don't snap shut like they do here on the Farmer X. The saw just clacks down quite nicely. Next up, we have the can opener. Seems to be the same can opener as standard. Again, excuse the pocket lint. Same size, same functionality, same usefulness. It is a very handy little tool to have. And did I just cut myself on the back end? Or is that just pressure? Just pressure, no blood. You ever had that feeling where you cut yourself on the blunt end of something? That just happened just now. No blood, we're good. And the final tool on here is the flathead driver. Now this is where it's kind of interesting. It is considerably beefier than the standard flathead, definitely wider than the standard flathead. Small wire stripper and cap lifter is the same proportions, but we have a thicker stock for the blade steel. Very nice. I have put this through some heavier use and that's held up, so I would assume this would hold up quite well. And this is the only tool that has a half stop here, which gives you a chance to really leverage on a big nut or bolt or screw, whatever you're prying on. Crate popper, got to pop open a crate, kind of work around the edges of the wood, loosen it up. Very, very nice. So now that we've gone through the general uses of the general showcase of what is inside, let's go back through it and take a closer look at what each tool is. Going back to the beginning, we have the awl/punch/reamer. Very handy little tool here. Very sharp, as you can see from that edge there. Very, very aggressive. Very pokey. Getting a piece of paper here, you can see how fine that point comes down. I'm just going to really poke through some stuff. It's great as a scraper. You could really strike a ferro rod with it. You could almost have it sharp enough to be a secondary knife, a smaller knife blade. That's something to consider. Main knife blade. Very nice. I love just the large beefiness of it here. It just feels, while it's not realistically that much bigger than a standard Swiss Army knife blade, it feels humongous. And it's not humongous, but it feels humongous. And it's very nice. I love this thing. This is going to be a fantastic EDC knife for me. The scissors. Can't go wrong with having more Victorinox scissors. There's a Farmer version, which has everything but the scissors. And if you don't like the scissors, which I don't see why that would be the case, that's fine. Carry what you want. But you cannot go wrong with having more scissors. These suckers stay sharp a long time. They cut through a lot. They glide through a lot. They're just great to have. Can't go wrong with those. The saw, I'm not big on saws. If a multi-tool does not have a saw, it does not turn me away because I don't use them that much. I'm one of those people that don't use them that much, but when I do, I want a good saw. And this is a good saw. I'm definitely going to keep this. I'll try to do a YouTube short of this cutting through a branch, see how good it does. Should be about the same as this, but, you know, got to make videos here for this channel. Can openers, I've been using the can openers a lot lately, and these are just fantastic can openers. As a push type, although I push or pull, I really think this works both directions. I don't see how one really works better than the other. The flathead driver here is very nice. It also doubles as a standard number 2 Phillips driver, surprisingly, which is surprising but very welcome. The most used tool probably is going to be the flathead. Just a standard chunky pry bar. I don't open a lot of bottles, but that's always nice to have. There's actually some jars of dried beef, the Armor brand dried beef. That lid doesn't always pop off the way you want. You get the cap lifter under there and you go, and it just pops right off. Wonderful. The wire stripper, I know people say it's gimmicky, and it is to a small extent, but I do work on some really small wires now and then. And you just lay them in there, you put your thumb on them, strip it right off. It's fantastic. I love it. Just the thicker blade stock on the knife and the pry bar is so welcome. I'm loving this knife already. I got it in the mail today. I can tell already this is going to be a well-loved EDC of mine. And I got the A-locks because I know that there's the Huntsman model, which has some of the tools on the bottom, which is nice. And I have a cup. I have this and a deluxe tinker. I have the Swiss Champ. This is a Swiss Champ, and I have a deluxe tinker. Both are fantastic, phenomenal knives. And I do use the scale tools a lot. But I kind of wanted to see what a full-size A-locks knife is like from VICTORINOX. And it is not my first A-locks from VICTORINOX. I actually have the Mini Champ from them. I keep these close to my keys almost all the time. This is a very good combination of small tools, small knife blades, small drivers, what I call, some people joke about this being a Coke spoon. I call this the stronger thumbnail. There's packages and stuff that you need a thumbnail to pry open and you don't want to break your own thumbnail. You whip this out and use it. But now I have 2 A-locks knives. Very nice. I'm loving these. Very nice is going to become my catchphrase, I think. I use those words a lot. But when it is very nice, I say it's very nice. If it's garbage, I say it's garbage. But Victorinox Swiss made stainless printed on the ting of the blade. Nothing. I didn't get anything engraved here. I just got the base model. Bought this on Black Friday. Don't regret it at all. This thing is phenomenal. I just love how the red pops in the A-locks there. Now, one thing I will say is that it is a very rolly knife in your hand. It is, because the scales are so full of tools here, that it is about the same any way you look at it. It's kind of just a tube of cube here, and it can very easily just roll around. So if you're wanting something that sits slim in the pocket, this may not be for you, but if you like that base set of tools, this is going to be right up your alley, I think. The stronger aluminum scales that won't pop off like these do not pop off easily by any stretch of the imagination. But these could theoretically pop off, these plastic Celador scales. These aluminum scales being pinned into the handle should stay in there as long as the knife. You're going to lose the knife before you lose the scales. And then the pivot for the main spring here down the middle is steel, and the ones for the tools are brass. Interesting little choice of metals there. But yeah, I'm liking this fresh out of the box. I think I'm going to be carrying this a lot. I'll post an update down the road, hopefully month or so down, see how it's holding up. Post a few shorts of this. We'll see how things go, and just all around what's going on with the knife. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it useful and informational. Hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And so until the next time, farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye. Bye.